In July 1870, the 61-year-old emperor of the Second French Empire, Napoleon III, driven by a fanatical adoration for his uncle and enduring the excruciating pain of a bladder stone, once again took to the field as commander-in-chief, preparing to cross swords with Prussia across the Rhine. Yet, a mere 6 months later, the iron projectiles raining from Krupp cannons shattered the canvas-covered Refi mitrailleuses. The emperor, along with his 100,000 French troops, surrendered to 20,000 Prussians at the Battle of Sedan. As the smoke of the Franco-Prussian War cleared, the German Empire officially transformed from a geographical term into a sovereign state. Seizing the opportunity, Italy reclaimed Rome, achieving its final unification. Meanwhile, Russia, having previously suffered defeat in the Crimean War, broke the shackles of the Treaty of Paris and reclaimed its sovereignty over the Black Sea. As for France, after losing an emperor and 13,123 square kilometers of territory, they did receive a sort of consolation prize, a milestone innovation in military rations: Johnston's fluid beef, touted as being able to put a whole ox in a can. Legend has it that during the Franco-Prussian War, desperate to turn the tide of battle, Napoleon personally ordered 1 million cans of this compact, high-calorie, non-perishable extract to quickly replenish his soldiers' strength. Ultimately, it was John Lawson Johnston, a Canadian food inventor and former butcher, who took on the task. To be fair, while 19th-century Europeans had a preliminary grasp of basic nutritional concepts like proteins, fats, and minerals, they still lacked a systematic understanding of more advanced knowledge, such as amino acids, vitamins, and trace elements. They simply held a naive belief. If meat makes people strong, wouldn't the broth from boiling it, or the paste concentrated from its juices, be even closer to the very essence of meat? The reason Johnston's extract stood out and won favor at the time was largely because his competitors' products were mostly gelatinous solid canned meats, whereas Johnston's product was a semi-fluid beef paste that was much easier to pour from a bottle. This meant that whether in the trenches or a hospital, one only needed to mix it with hot water to quickly get a cup of nutritious and delicious beef tea. Unfortunately, the French army, despite their soaring morale, was swiftly defeated, giving this star product little chance to prove itself on the battlefield. However, for Johnston, this might not have been a bad thing. With the full endorsement of scientists, the military, and hospitals, he had already spun a compelling narrative around his concentrated extract. The next step was to adjust his strategy and build a brand. After some consideration, across the ocean in Britain, a new product with a concise, accessible name, profound meaning, and a touch of exotic flair was placed on the counters of shops and pharmacies. This was the legendary Bovril. From a historical perspective, it seems no other country in Europe has loved beef quite as much as Britain. From a nickname roast beef given to the yeomen of the guard during the Tudor dynasty for their daily beef rations, a term still used today, to the Sunday roast, which the working class proudly made a staple of their weekly menu thanks to the wealth brought by the Industrial Revolution, and culminating in the great Justice von Liebig personally giving a scientific veneer to concentrated beef extracts. The British, sitting on vast tracts of prime pasture, even went so far as to name a portly, ruddy-faced old bloke wearing a Union Jack waistcoat John Bull. They elevated his image, forever holding a mug of ale and never far from a plate of roast beef, to the spiritual embodiment of the entire British nation. When it comes specifically to the realm of concentrated beef extracts, the British initially had roughly 2 methods. First, placing simply roasted beef into a cast-iron screw press, turning the handle to apply downward pressure via the threads to squeeze out the juice, and then drinking it directly. Second, cutting beef into small pieces, adding water, sealing it in a jar, and simmering it over low heat for at least 2 hours before straining and drinking. For the elderly, women, children, or frail patients, pairing this mild broth with traditional Ashkenazi Jewish calf's foot jelly, or a custard baked from milk, cheese, and eggs, or even the humble rice pudding that had just fallen from the tables of royalty and nobility, constituted the most nutritious and easily digestible premium sickbed menu known at the time. The greatest significance of Bovril's emergence at this point was precisely to downplay this medicinal and dietary solution nature. At the turn of a century in 1900, Bovril built a modern factory in London, boasting a staggering daily production capacity of 150,000 bottles. As production soared, a cup of beef tea, made by stirring a spoonful of Bovril in a boiling water, gradually became a new favorite on British tables during the cold winter months, enjoyed in tea houses and taverns. On the football pitch, the combination of a meat pie and Bovril became the earliest English stadium meal. Of course, its broader use was as a condiment. Added to dips and sauces, it could quickly enhance their color and aroma. Mixed in a minced meat, it could vastly intensify the beefy base flavor of various meat pies. And for all sorts of casseroles and stews, Bovril was the absolute flavor code. However, also in 1900, Bovril's founder, John Lawson Johnston, concluded his life's journey on his steam yacht, the Lady of the Lake. His second son, George Lawson Johnston, took over the company. This businessman, who would later hold key positions in the British War Office, made his greatest contribution to the brand by keeping Bovril closely tied to the British military in the years to come. During the Second Boer War, Bovril was part of the so-called emergency field ration. This ration consisted of a uniquely designed double-ended tin can. One end contained 113 grams of high-energy, invigorating cocoa powder, while the other held 113 grams of Bovril's specially formulated beef powder. Soldiers could choose to eat it dry or mix it with water for a beef tea. By World War I, although Bovril didn't represent the core of the British military diet like hardtack, bully beef, and tea, in the hearts of the soldiers, this warm, savory, and meaty drink was always the best comfort for their frayed nerves. In field hospitals, serving a steaming cup of beef tea to newly arrived casualties was practically a mandatory procedure written into nurses' manuals. British doctors not only used it as a restorative tonic to help weak soldiers regain their strength, but they even genuinely used it to combat pneumonia or septicemia. Capitalizing on this military preference, the Bovril Company continued to expand its advertising, ultimately layering a buff of grand narratives like loyalty and patriotism on top of its nutritional and restorative benefits. A prime example of this was a 1916 poster featuring a bull arriving at a recruitment office, accompanied by the caption, "The front needs Bovril. Let me go." By World War II, as Britain constantly faced the blockade of German U-boats, the country implemented strict food rationing, and the public could no longer freely purchase fresh beef as before. Thus, Bovril, which didn't count against rationing quotas but possessed an intense beef flavor, once again became the best-selling beef substitute among civilians. Stirring a spoonful of strongly flavored Bovril into bland mashed potatoes or vegetable soup to trick the stomach and fake a beef feast became the best way to maintain the psychological satisfaction of the wartime public. Bovril promptly launched the slogan, "Add taste and nourishment to your rations," pushing its sales to yet another historical peak. However, as the saying goes, the sun at its zenith begins to decline, and the full moon starts to wane. With the end of World War II and rationing and the advancement of nutritional science, Bovril's early miracle drug style of advertising, claiming scientific nutrition and physical strengthening, gradually lost its persuasiveness. Its product positioning retreated from wartime rations back to family kitchens, pubs, and stadiums. In 1971, Cavenham Foods, owned by the German-Jewish Goldsmith family, acquired Bovril. After that, the brand changed hands in the capital market almost every decade, ultimately being acquired by the British FMCG giant Unilever in 2001. Ironically, due to the BSE, bovine spongiform encephalopathy, or mad cow disease, outbreak in the UK, which led to subsequent international trade restrictions and a rise in vegetarianism, Bovril, which genuinely started as a concentrated beef extract, was once stripped of its beef content by Unilever. This change instantly enraged conservative and traditional Britons. Especially among football fans, the older generation of John Bulls viewed Bovril brewed without beef as a soulless beef tea, and treated it as an absolute abomination. The brand's reputation and sales plummeted to historic lows. After facing immense public pressure, Unilever finally chose to announce in September 2006 that 40% of the original beef extract was being brought back into the Bovril recipe. Compared to the golden phrase from a century and a half ago, claiming to put a whole ox in a can, this level of compromise was still quite a step down. But it was certainly enough for the media to write headlines in the newspapers declaring a victory for traditional British flavor.